Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how do you graph an equation that's given in slope-intercept form, similar to this problem that you see up on the screen. Just a reminder, this is the short version of the lesson, so we're going to go through just the main points pretty quickly. If you want the full-length lesson where we go step by step with a bunch of examples, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should already know about slope-intercept form. If you want a refresher on that topic, I will link that in the description. All right, so here we have a problem. And here's our problem, and we're supposed to graph it. And so we should immediately recognize this is already in slope-intercept form, right? That was the previous video. So we should be able to say, okay, we know the slope is 8/7. We know the y-intercept is +1. So that's step one. Step one is to know your slope and y-intercept. Step two, graph the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is always on the y-axis. And so b equals +1 would be here. So we're going to put our first dot. So step two is done. Step three, rise over run. So remember, slope, the definition for slope is rise over run. So we're going to 8 rise, 7 run. And this is really important. This is the really, really important part, okay? You count from wherever you put your y-intercept. So I'm going to put my pencil where I put my dot, okay, on the y-intercept of +1. And we're going to rise 8 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to keep our pencil there. And now we're going to go to the right or run 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And wherever we end up, we're going to put our second dot. And now that we have 2 dots, we can connect them. My line will not be very straight, but it is what it is. And there is our line, okay? Now, for this problem, you'll notice that the slope is negative. So what happens when the slope is negative? Well, before we said it was rise over run. But if it's a negative, you don't rise. Instead, you're going to fall. All right, fall over run. So again, let's plot our y-intercept. So that would be -4. So I put that on the graph. And now we keep our pencil there, and we're going to so it's 1/3. So we're going to fall 1 and go to the right 3. So down 1/3. And our second dot will be right here. And now we just connect them with a line, and we are good to go. For most graphing, you do not put these connecting lines. So I'm going to erase those. You can, depending on maybe what your teacher says or whatever. But I'm going to get rid of the connecting lines. We just have our dots and our line. All right, for this problem, you'll notice that the slope is a whole number, okay? It's just a regular number. It's not a fraction like the other ones. So the slope is 2, and the y-intercept is -1. Now, for the slope, when we have just a regular number, we can always write it over 1. Okay, and that's how we're going to make it a fraction, because you want your slope to be a fraction so that way you can do rise over run. So now, we're going to put our first dot at -1. And now we're going to go up to right 1 because it's a positive slope. So 1, 2, and to the right 1. Here's our second dot. Connect them. And that is, and that is all you have to do for this type of problem. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 3 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, here is the line that you should have gotten with a slope of 9/10 and a y-intercept of -3. For the second problem, your slope was -7, and you can write that over 1, and your y-intercept was -3, so here's the graph. And for this last problem, hopefully remember that if you don't see a number in front of the x, that means there's an invisible 1 there. So this was -1/1. We plotted our y-intercept as 7. Then we went down 1, right 1. And here is our graph. And that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.